This video will be dedicated to Russia. This past weekend, Putin was on the edge of his seat. His country was dealing with a mutiny from the Wagner group. Indeed, Wagner chief Yevgeny Prigozhin called for an insurrection against the head of the Russian army. He accused them of bombing his men. The question that we can ask ourselves as Africans is what implication could this conflict between Putin and Prigozhin have for the country where Wagner fighters are present. This is the topic that I will talk about throughout this video. So if this topic interests you, please don't go away. See you guys after the intro. Let's go. Hello everyone and welcome to Burkina News Network BNN. This bilingual YouTube channel where I do a brief summary of the news and everything else happening across the continent. But before going any further, if this is your first time here, my name is Severin, aka a man, not your boy. I'm a young expat, passionate about Africa, passionate about seeing Africa develop in the field of health, education, infrastructure, environment, technology, well-being, etc. And if one of these topics interests you, please don't hesitate to subscribe and share massively this video. This will, of course, make me really happy, and it will also help grow this channel. Thank you. The information coming in about this crisis in Russia continue to fall. The Wagner chief, Yevgeny Prigozhin, is now in Belarus with some of his fighters. The criminal investigation against him is dropped, and his fighter will not be prosecuted either. This is what the Kremlin indicates. But as of now, they're trying to figure out their own future. There is a lot of uncertainty and question mark on what will become this mercenary group. They challenge Putin power. Will he forget and forgive? What will happen to Wagner global operation? This is a private army, as you all know. He has long been seen as an extension of Russian influence. He has operation in multiple countries: Syria, Libya, Mali, Central Africa Republic, Sudan. Clearly a large presence in West Asia and Africa, a presence that heavily depends on Moscow. Wagner benefits from the Russian government. Will they continue to work and fight for Russia? Will they continue their operation in all these countries? As of now, the Kremlin say it will be business as usual, but for how long? How can a private army that challenges Russia continue to fight for Russia and be based in Belarus? I guess all of them are trying to figure out and how this works and what is the future. Russia and Wagner both need each other. Wagner depends on Russia for arms and needs. Russia depends on it for influence, to keep a grip on tribal region and to counter Western influence. So it's a fragile but important relationship. Putin cannot send Russia soldiers to Africa. He cannot replace the Wagner group, at least not immediately. So for the foreseeable future, the group might remain in West Asia and Africa. But does this mean Prigozhin is forgiven? In a normal state and a normal situation, it is expected that this group will be dissolved. So this brings me back to the question of what implication could this conflict between Putin and Prigozhin have for the African countries where the Wagner fighters are present. This conflict marks a moment of clarification of the relations and the contract that were concluded between certain regimes. I'm not talking about country, I'm talking about regimes and the Wagner group. Because the countries where the Wagner group is under contract, it is a question of protecting the regimes in place rather than cooperating with the countries as such. Moreover, we can note that none of the countries where Wagner is present officially recognizes the presence of Wagner as a mercenary group. They're talking about military instructor instead, and from time to time, the Kremlin, when it shoots them, recognize that Wagner acts in the name of military cooperation between Russia and Africa. But when it becomes disturbing or the finger is pointed at the abuses committed by this private group, the Kremlin is the first to indicate that it's a private group with no connection with Russian political power. So there is this ambiguity that is maintained as well in Mali and Central African Republic. But what we know about Wagner activities, whether in Mali or the Central African Republic, are both military activity, but also commercial and private prospecting activity, such as the exploitation of mine. It is a special relationship because we still don't know the term of the contract that bind Wagner to all these countries. It is shocking and surprising to me that there is still no reaction from African countries because everyone knows the presence of Wagner in Sudan, the Central African Republic, and especially in Mali. Is it an embarrassment for this country? Anyhow, it is total silence. But these regimes in place do not fully assume the relationship with Wagner. This power hides behind the security cooperation agreement that was signed between them and Russia. When we see the reversal of Yevgeny Prigozhin against Vladimir Putin, to whom he has always been close, is this a threat to African countries where Wagner fighters are present as well? Could the same situation also arise on the continent? Yevgeny Prigozhin has never discouraged military putsch on the continent, so there is a shared culture between this mercenary and certain regime today. So with what is happening today, the country where Wagner is present will clearly have to tell the populations the term of the cooperation between them and Wagner. And with the breakup between Putin and Prigozhin, the question is what is exactly the justification for the presence of this mercenary on African soil. That's all for this video. But before I leave, I will once again ask you to subscribe and share massively this video. Please don't forget to activate the notification bell so that you will be alerted when I post a new video. May God bless Africa. Always your humble and kind servant, Severin, aka your man, not your boy. See you on the next video. I'm out.